Right now, someone watching this video has £500 sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing. They know they should invest it. They've heard ETFs are the way to go, but they've opened up their investing app, typed ETF into the search bar, and been hit with hundreds of results. Global, UK, US, bonds, dividend, accumulation, distribution, UCITS, FTSE, MSCI. And they've closed the app. That's not a knowledge problem, that's a choice problem. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and what to ignore when picking your first ETF. One quick note before we continue. I'm not a financial advisor. This content is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice. Always do your own research or speak to a qualified professional before making investment decisions. Before we pick one, let's make sure we're on the same page. An ETF, an exchange traded fund, is a basket. Instead of buying shares in one company and hoping it does well, you buy one ETF and you own tiny pieces of dozens or hundreds or even thousands of companies all at once. Think of it like this. Buying a single stock is like putting all your eggs in one basket. Buying an ETF is like buying the entire egg aisle. The reason ETFs are the go-to starting point for beginners is simple: diversification. If one company in the basket has a bad year, the others help carry the weight. You're not betting on one horse, you're backing the whole race. Here's the problem. There are thousands of ETFs, and the finance industry has made it feel like you need to study all of them before you pick one. You don't. As a beginner, you're looking for one single ETF that gives you broad, global diversification at a low cost. That's it. You can get more specific later. But your first ETF is about getting into the market, not optimizing every detail. So let's talk about the 5 things that actually matter when you're choosing. Number 1, what does the ETF actually track? Every ETF follows an index. An index is just a list of companies. The FTSE 100 is the list of the 100 biggest companies in the UK. The S&P 500 is the 500 biggest in the US. The MSCI World tracks large companies across dozens of developed countries. For your first ETF, most beginners benefit from something broad. A global tracker that covers companies across the UK, US, Europe, Japan, and other developed markets. This gives you the widest diversification with a single purchase. You don't need to pick sectors, you don't need to pick regions. A global tracker does the heavy lifting for you. Number 2, what does it cost? ETFs charge something called an ongoing charge, or OCF. It's a percentage that gets taken from your investment each year to cover the cost of running the fund. Here's what matters. The lower, the better. Pretty obvious, right? The difference between a 0.1% fee and a 1.5% fee might sound tiny, but over 30 years, on let's say a £10,000 investment, that difference could cost you thousands of pounds in lost growth. Look for ETFs with an OCF below 0.25%. The most popular global trackers sit around 0.1% to 0.22%. Anything above 0.5%, and you should ask yourself why you're paying that much. Number 3, accumulation or distribution. This one trips up every beginner. When companies in your ETF pay dividends, that's a share of their profits, the ETF does one of 2 things with that money. An accumulation ETF automatically reinvests those dividends back into the fund. Your investment grows without you doing anything. This is what most beginners want, especially if you're investing inside an ISA where growth is tax-free. A distribution ETF pays those dividends out to you as cash. Some people want this for income, maybe in retirement. But if you're just starting out and building wealth, accumulation is almost always the simpler choice. When you search for an ETF on your platform, you'll often see the word ACC or DIST next to the name. Now you know what that means. ACC for accumulation, DIST standing for distribution. Number 4. How big is the fund? This one's quick but important. Larger ETFs are generally more stable, easier to buy and sell, and less likely to be shut down by the provider. Look for ETFs with at least 100 million in assets under management. The most popular ones hold billions. If a fund is very small, let's say under 50 million, it might not have enough investors to keep running, and the provider could close it. That's not a disaster. You would get your money back, but it's an inconvenience you can avoid by starting with something established. Number 5. Can you actually buy it on your platform that you're using? This sounds obvious, but not every ETF is available on every UK platform. Before you fall in love with a specific fund, check that your investing platform actually offers it. Also, and this matters for UK investors, look for ETFs that are UCITS compliant. That stands for Undertakings for Collective Investment in Transferable Securities. You don't need to remember that. What you need to know is that UCITS ETFs are the ones regulated for sale to the UK and the EU. Most ETFs you'll find on UK platforms are already UCITS, but if you see a US domiciled ETF, it probably won't be available to you. Here's the thing that took me far too long to learn. The difference between a good global ETF and the best global ETF is almost nothing over the long term. The difference between investing and not investing is everything. Beginners spend weeks comparing ETFs that are 95% identical. They compare a 0.12% fee against a 0.22% fee. They agonize over whether to track the MSCI World or the FTSE All-World. And while they're comparing, their money is sitting in a current account, losing value to inflation every single day. Pick one that's broad, cheap and accumulating. Put it inside an ISA. Set up monthly contribution and then leave it alone. You can always adjust later. You can't get back the time you spent not investing. As a reminder, this advice is for educational purposes, so I cannot advise specific ETFs for you to buy now. This guide gives you a framework to do this yourself. So let's bring it all together. Your first ETF should track a broad global index. It should cost less than 0.25% per year. Choose the accumulation version so dividends get reinvested automatically. Make sure it's available on your platform and has a decent fund size. And buy it inside a stocks and shares ISA so your growth is tax free. That's 5 things to check. Not 50, not 500, just 5. If you found this useful, why not subscribe to the channel? I break down investing in plain English for people who are just getting started. No jargon, just the nuts and bolts. And if you want the full step-by-step walkthrough from opening your ISA to actually pressing the buy button, the complete nuts and bolts beginner investing course covers everything. 6+ hours of video content broken down in digestible modules you can view at your own pace, with more added all the time. The link is in the description. So drop a comment below and tell me, what's been the biggest thing stopping you from choosing your first ETF? I try to read each comment. So until next time, see you soon.